going, everyone? This is my first time doing a live stream to the channel, but I just wanted to do this discussion for a while now. I just been having to put it off, unfortunately, but the auction is about a week away from now, and I just had some comments regarding it. And it's not every day that we see a Snowtrooper helmet come on the market, at least for auction. It's been a little bit, I think, since what year was that? October 2017 was the last time we had any Snowtrooper item from production actually sold. That was more notably unfinished Snowtrooper helmet, and there's a partially completed backpack, but both sold to the same individuals. You might know them already as RS Props. They were able to acquire them and went on to do very amazing things with those pieces, fortunately. And as a collector and a costume builder, it was really a saving grace to see those guys get a hands-on those things, and because it led to them being able to offer to the community a direct lineage cast helmet and a lineage cast backpack, which is very rare in the Snowtrooper community if you follow along closely to all that. So today I just wanted to as I said, talk about the helmet that's going to be in auction. Let me switch screens here. So this one is going to be, let's see, here it is. Now, what you're looking at here is the current lot 375, production made Imperial Snowtrooper helmet with a replica skirt. So this caught my eye because I saw the random photo of it. I guess it was at one of the booths at a convention, and it just threw me off because at a glance, it almost kind of looked like the Innovos helmet, like the actual the replica helmet that you see. But I guess that was because of the added cowl, which is clearly not original. At least I do not believe it's original to the helmet at the time of production. So there's all little things here, but I just want to read through the description here. There's a lot of little stuff right here about the actual auction. I'm not too worried about. Brief description. Everyone knows this from Empire Strikes Back. So I'll just move along from there. I'm glad to give credit to the trifecta: John Mallow, McQuarrie, and Joe Johnston for putting this together. And we did a lot of back and forth a few years back to determine who the original sculptor was, but it was confirmed to be Jan Stevens. So here's the part right here. It doesn't really give you a whole lot of backstory, but it's like, okay, this unfinished helmet is constructed from vacuum form ABS with glued sections for the faceplate, dome, and neck guard. Recesses were incorporated into the faceplate for installation of eye lenses. That means you just cut out plastic. Interior of the helmet features manufacturing tag and motorcycle helmet padding used. I want to talk about this a little more because this is something else I wanted to bring up. But there it is. Replica vinyl skirt was added to complete the helmet. They call it a skirt. I call it a cowl. I mean, that's if you're done the costuming stuff for a long time, that's how we always refer to it as. What's interesting is like the estimated price for this is pretty, low in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I unfortunately don't get to participate in these kind of auctions because it's beyond my means. It's not to say that it's not worth that or it could be worth more. Just I don't have that practical experience of determining value of screen used or production used items, especially something quite as unique as this. just going through the pictures here, you can definitely see that it's definitely an original helmet. Like the helmet itself is definitely original. There's a lot of let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit more. There we are. Okay, so you get a good close up here, and you'll see this. It looks like abrasion, like markings right here. It's more or less originated from the actual weathering technique used, and this is what RS Props also helped. Well, they did determine this really was how the weathering was applied to the helmets, and this is kind of a geeky detail here, but essentially they took like super glue, like the modeling glue, and the little tiny little brushes in a little jar, like a super clear, watery type. They kind of brushed it along the sides of where they wanted to have the weathering, which was mostly around, as you see around the brow line, nose bridge, those kind of areas. And then they went over it with like the acrylic paints, the washes, to get the added weathering look. So let me see if I can pull up over here on this page. Give me a second, and you'll see the same exact kind of markings here. Give me a second. Let me switch screens here. It's kind of inconvenient. Here it is. Okay. So if you look closely here, this is the helmet that sold in 2017 that RS Props got. You can definitely tell a little bit more wear and tear was occurred here, but you see the same exact like the little, looks like brush strokes almost. When I first saw it years ago, I remember thinking, "Oh, is that like, did it take like a Brillo pad or not a Brillo pad, like sandpaper, and kind of scuts up the surface?" But no, it turned out to be the super glue method. And so you can tell if you look close enough, it is like kind of like brush strokes, and that's what that is. So right off the bat, you can tell this is an authentic helmet, at least from production. So there's no, as far as I can tell, controversy there, which is, And it's kind of funny because I saw the cowl on this helmet, and I was like, oh, okay, well maybe. I was concerned that this was actually the previous helmet that I showed you, the one that RS Props bought. That was maybe whoever I know RS Props. They ended up selling that helmet to another collector. But I don't know who actually ended up taking hands on that. It's not my business to pry about it. But yeah. So initially, that was the idea, was that the person who bought the helmet from RS Props decided to take it, put the cowl on there, and then throw it back in auction. Fortunately, that's not the case. I did take a closer look at the details, and the helmets are completely different from each other. So that's not a thing, fortunately. Let me see. I was trying to get someone else in here, but let's see. I'm trying to see. Let's see if one of my other buddies maybe might be interested. He's not a Snowtrooper person, but he has a lot of experience with the original props and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I was hoping to get someone else on here. I just, was been busy and kind of been pushing this back and forth, and not sure. He's like, I don't know anything about it. But yeah, so that was a good thing, and I didn't, I feared most that the helmet that RS Props ended up selling back, or not selling back, but going to a different collector, that they may have didn't want any more, threw a cow on here and said, let's throw it back up and sell it to people. So there's a lot of things about this helmet. I do not believe this helmet was ever screen used. I'll get into that in a second. I could be wrong, but I don't have any inkling that it was screen used. The reason I say that is because it's too unfinished, in my opinion. And it, even unfinished helmet RS Props had, they had the same exact kind of weathering patterns on the helmet, but that helmet was clearly never finished either. So, in original production, I believe, if my memory's not too bad here, was that they only made about 15 full complete suits for filming. Originally, they wanted 20, but they cut it back for I think it was budget reasons. But it's not to say they didn't have a bunch of extra parts that were made. That it's like anything else with any kind of production. You might have spare parts, or might have spare pieces laying around that may or may not be used, or maybe just backup replacement parts. Costumes get broken during stunt scenes, and we know at least with the Snowtroopers there was at least at least two deleted scenes involving actual like stunt work beyond like just getting shot with blasters and falling down. So it makes sense to have spare pieces when you need it. I will say what I like about this helmet, it has that really nice distinct flare kind of detail going on with it. That cowl, and this is the other thing too, that cowl, I don't know how recent this cowl was added to the helmet. I personally, it'd be one thing if it was like this helmet was from an original, member of the crew, or it was in his family, and they added it later on at the time. I get it; it's their, it's part of their thing. It's hard to say. Let me just get into the pictures because it'll explain. I can explain a little better here. In a second. So, I could have sworn. Okay. I think my memory might be a little off, but I remember this having. Let me see. Let me zoom in. Maybe I see a little better. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm not going completely crazy. The cowl material, as you can see in here, along the outside towards the front of the face, you see little black speckles. I don't know where that originated from. If that's like black paint, it was dirt. It's not necessarily an indication of age. The material itself is pretty clean, pretty newish looking. These little pits, I see these little circular pits up here. That's definitely a natural thing that occurs with Kiss laminate. Kiss laminate is a type of PVC vinyl material that is used for the original Snowtrooper helmets. So if you own an RS Props helmet, for example, as a collector's piece, that's what the cowl is made of. It's called Kiss laminate, and it's typically it's two extremely thin layers of material sandwich. It's kind of sandwiched together. So that material, without a doubt, it's the same exact material that was used on the original helmets too. So it's a replica, but it's a proper fabric, is what I'm trying to get at. I just don't know. I have no indication of how old or how, at what point this was actually attached. Now, going back to the other photo, the side profile, you can see down in the middle or the bottom where the two halves meet, that the way the cowl is cut and trimmed, that is 100% almost identical to what you see the Archives Snowtrooper helmet is. See if I can pull a picture of that helmet up here really quick. You'll see what I'm talking about. This side is the way that's been cut and trimmed. Forgive me. I should have had this up already. Let's do a view image. Okay, here it is. Let me switch screens really quick. wish I can put more than one screen up at a time. It's not letting me though. So right here, you'll see what I'm talking about on the side profile. It's not a true side view, but you can see the same way it's cut. Is that curve, that cut is very distinct on this helmet, on the screen use helmet to the right. A Novos, actually, if you ever bought an Novos Snowtrooper helmet, especially with a kit, you'll also see that this has the same exact kind of cut pattern applied. So I have no doubt that, I mean, I know Novos use this helmet on the right and that costume itself for their mass-produced replica Snowtrooper costume pieces, and they copied that pattern. I don't know if Archives had like an original template laying around, or they just kind of developed it when they had hands-on with the costume. I don't know, but I can say that this helmet pattern and trim is very much identical to what we see with the current helmet in the Propstore auction. So let me go back here. So it really makes me wonder, given how clean it is, how not wrinkled it is, just everything about it's too clean and too pristine to be old. So I think this is maybe added on specifically for the auction. And they use, and I'm, like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these people use the Novos helmet cal template, or at least some derivative of it. If not, maybe someone who had expertise in the Snowtrooper stuff actually did this for them. The doing a cal on a Snowtrooper is not exactly easy. And I'm not entirely sure how they, if they use like actual like permanent adhesive. The interior shots kind of suggest they may have, but yeah, I personally, as a collector and a person who would have, who would love to own this kind of piece right here, I would not have added anything. I would not have put this cowl in here. I would not have done that. That's just a personal thing. I get people want to have a more completed look, especially for something that's original. But considering how old this stuff is, I couldn't get myself around to doing it. So, hey, that's me. I know the Propstore and maybe other collections in the past, they may have, or prop houses may have done additions or modifications to, screen use pieces and whatnot to kind of give it a more complete look. I know they did that with the Scott Trooper helmet, which I also think also went to RS Props years ago. So it's a practice that I think it's something that just the high-end collectors will do, but I don't subscribe to that. That's just me. So moving on from the cowl discussion, I just this interior, since we're talking about the interior so much, this liner, it's not to say that it's not original to the helmet, because that's one thing I can't really confirm. It's hard to confirm, especially helmet interiors. Oh, that's not letting me select the proper image. There it is. So this liner is definitely old, if that's, assuming this is all correctly the same single piece. 76 suggests, yeah, 6, is that 676? So yeah, June 1976. The liner is definitely old. The thing about the Snowtrooper helmets, though, that's throwing me off here, that's why I'm not really sure it was ever actually used in production. Granted, there's no top side shots here, but even then, this is relevant. Up here in the top of the dome, There's a little would usually be like a little helmet cap, a little piece that kind of sits up there. Let me see. This other picture has it. Let me go back. Oh, here's a good picture. So let me switch screens again. Here it is. So you see, this is a helmet. This is one of the other helmets that sold in auction years ago. Top center of the dome is a little cap. This piece right here is not just for aesthetics, but it actually had a purpose, because on a lot of the helmets, they actually this was actually a piece of hardware, like a post that was obviously sitting through a hole in the helmet, extend down, and it would hold. It would be bolted onto the top side of like a hard hat liner. And so a hard hat liner was obviously meant, was there was some foam, and so they added some foam blocks. So the person wearing it can wear it properly and securely. And that was what that purpose was. So then if I go back to the Propstore auction one, like I said, I'm not seeing it at least in these photos. Even on some of these side profile shots, you should be able to see at least a little bit of it. Unless when they're making these photos, they kind of cropped it out. I'm not sure. Yeah, just not seeing it. Because really what would happen is, if it was there, you'd be able to see a little space for it right there. But seeing how this appears to be styrofoam, like a protective helmet, motorcycle helmet, I think this was from. Protective dome. It's hidden. I can't see. Can't confirm it. At least not with these photos. So if maybe there's more pictures might come out later on, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's absolutely there or not. So that's how a lot of the helmets were made, though. They didn't. I mean, as far as I know, they didn't really. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I said, these prop departments, they were using whatever they had on hand, especially if you know Star Wars stuff. They weren't always using the same exact stuff a lot of times. Yeah, they had a uniform method of constructing the costumes to keep it consistent, but oftentimes I guess they had just piles of boxes full of stuff, random stuff that they had to use to make it work, and that's what they had to do at the end of the day, make it work. So a motorcycle helmet like this, or liner, I don't see it being, inauthentic to the production. But and if someone else can, tell me, hey, Chris, you're wrong, or stop being dumb, they did this and that. But it's hard to. We're just going off photos or going off a little description. We don't really have much other than my speculation at this point, based on my existing knowledge of the costumes. You can see, that's hard to see. I came in here originally thinking that this might not be production used, at least may not have been a screen used, but it's definitely tough. There's a lot of interior wear that's going on, and the lenses appear original. At least the lenses appear authentic to what was used for the originals as well. I was never sure if that liner is what it's supposed to be, but I don't want to beat a dead horse here. My overall thoughts is that, my idea was originally that this helmet was unfinished, not used for production, ended up in private hands, probably by one of the guys who worked on the film. That's not unheard of. And they decided to do a little bit of work on it. But that helmet liner makes me think that it might have been used. I don't know. And then the original cowl fell off at some point. I would need to do a deeper dive to see if there's any other markings like in a helmet that would make me able to kind of like try and screen match it to a helmet. It's really hard to say, or hard to do, considering how little screen time there are with these troopers in the film. And then, of course, there's probably also physical damage, like up here on the left. You see this crack in the dome. I don't know. I can't say when or how that happened. I don't know. On the back here, you can see looks like some damage. It almost looks like it was painted. I think I saw this. I was talking to a friend about it. It looks like there's some surface level damage here. Like it was a crack that was repaired or something. It was that little thing right here on the left hand side of this square. It's kind of like, looks like it's peeling back. There's like a hole there. And then you can actually very faintly see, you don't see it right here because it's one cohesive piece when it's vacuum formed. But this whole section right here, you see a very faint line. Looks a little rough, and I could be confusing it for a reflection, but there's too much. It's not smooth. It's too rough. It's too much of a disruption in the plastic that it makes me believe that this was maybe completely damaged at one point in the past and repaired. Like up here, it almost looks like Bondo almost. Because here you can see up here, looks like filler material with an air bubble in it. But I can, like I said, I can be wrong. I'm just going off the photo here. And the one thing about photos and photo reference in general is you got to be careful because, lighting can really mess with your perception of things. And that's very possible. I can be getting this wrong right here, but I'm just going off of what I'm seeing. That I think there is some significant damage to the rear of the helmet at some point in the past. But, just going off of what I'm seeing here. But yeah, you can see the nice uneven asymmetry, the beauty of this helmet. And you look at some of these screenshots here from the film, you can see how wide and flared out the helmet actually looks. This is a good example of it right here. It just looks very full, very round, and very just like what you expect it to look like. Especially right here on the right-hand side. Yeah, there is a very distinctive, iconic profile that I think I'm referring to, with how the whole plastic is shaped. Then you actually look at the helmet on the photos. This is a combination of things. Yeah, the helmet could be flat on the sides, trick of the eyes kind of thing. Also occurs. How the lens on the cameras, the depth, I think is depth perception. I forgot what setting that would be. That's why sometimes you might see replica helmets and they don't look as flared as you expect them to be. And that goes both ways. It can be a construction issue, or it can be, how it's photographed as well. So it's that little profile, that very distinct, iconic profile, is very it can be deceiving. I will say though, when you see them on screen, it is kind of gorgeous though. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about this helmet. I'm unfortunately not of means to bid on this. I wonder what the reserve price is at. This is 12. No, well, the starting price is 1250, 12,500. So here's what the low end conversion here is. A low end estimate is 25,000 British pounds. So that would be $30,925 right now. So as a point of reference, let me see if I can find another one. So the 267. Okay. Let me change screens here really quick. Give me a second. Sorry. I'm trying to. There, let's do this. So this helmet right here was the Profiles and Histories auction from 2012. This is a gorgeous piece. So, and I know of the person who won this auction. I don't know if that person still currently owns it, but it is a gorgeous helmet example. So this helmet you actually can see right here in the bottom right. They estimated between 60 and 80,000 for the helmet. Well, for them, they actually ended up selling it for, what was it, $276,750. So that is a lot higher than I guess that estimate was. So it's kind of interesting. It is a different helmet. This one is not complete. Doesn't look. I mean, the Profiles in History was definitely a screen used helmet for sure. I firmly believe it was actually the if you ever seen the behind the scenes, the Wampa attack, where it's like a Wampa arm coming through the door, grabbing the Snowtrooper and pulling him in, kind of deal. I'm pretty sure that this helmet right here, the Profiles in History auction helmet, is that helmet. But that's what I think, at least. But yeah, a helmet like this went for $276,000. The helmet in the lot right now, I don't think it's going to. I mean, I get it. It's not going to be that high. It's not complete. The chance of it being screen used is, in my opinion, uncertain right now. And it lends to the idea. I mean, this description is very brief description. It says this unfinished helmet, so it suggests that just like the previous one, that the RS Props one, it was unfinished helmet. That was his extra in production. And this is the one thing about some of these auctions, at least from my personal experience, that there's more to the story than what's being like described in these listings. Like for example, the RS Prop, the ones that like the backpack that they won. So the helmet and the backpack came from the same person in that auction. I don't believe it was mentioned in the listing. I could be wrong. Let me see, maybe. I don't think it was. It's essentially what happened is that backpack, for example, was unfinished, but the person who took it back, he actually worked on the film. He had it for years in his home. He partially modified the backpack, that little lower gray panel of the backpack, to open up and be used as storage for his son's toys, which is kind of a neat little story. But like little details like that are not going to get. I mean, at least I don't think it was ever brought up in that auction. So little things like that are not going to get really carried over. And so there might be a lot more to this story about how this helmet came to be in this position now. I do wonder if someone at a prop store, when they brought this helmet in for the auction, I wonder if they said, hey, let's throw a cowl on this. It's missing a cowl. Which is, I wouldn't have done it, as I said earlier. But it's neat. This is the first time I think I've seen, aside from the unfinished helmet that RS Props won, this is the first actual listing to have interior pictures of the helmet itself. I know that some collectors who own these helmets, screen use helmets, are very protective of certain things, certain details, certain quote unquote secrets about these helmets. I mean, take that as you will, but I don't entirely subscribe to that mentality either. I think it's kind of silly because you own the piece, and unless it was some kind of devastating insight that would be detrimental to humanity, I don't understand what the issue would be. But hey, you own it. It's yours to do as you wish. And so it leaves people like me and others to kind of fill the gaps and figure out the puzzles, so to speak. Luckily, these helmets aren't terribly complicated, and no, it's nice to see an actual interior shot of a possibly production used helmet. That liner just makes me wonder, but then again, that liner could have been added by whoever took the helmet in, and age does things to these things. I wonder if it did have it, like I said, going back to the listing, it was unfinished. Whatever. I'm probably beating a dead horse about it, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on all. That being said, I'm kind of, I think I've hit a dead end here with the whole thing. I was hoping to have other people on that had more experience with the collecting side of the house, to get their insights, their experiences, and kind of the thought process on some of this stuff. Maybe if that changes in the future, we can reevaluate it or do something different. But yeah, no, I mean, I just thought this was neat to see. If you're able to auction on this piece and want to take it in your collection, good. Hopefully you enjoy it. I certainly would. Hopefully not just if you're buying it just as an investment piece. I do not agree with that, but hey, it's your money. You got the money to do it. I can't stop you. I can only envy you. And yeah, this is the helmet. If you have any comments or you're listening to me rant about this incoherently, and like, Chris, you're being dumb. You said the wrong thing. Just comment, tell me, hey, tell me what you think. And I think with that, I'll call it a night. And if you're going to auction on this or going to go bid on it, good luck. Let us know how it goes. I'll be curious to see how much it actually ends up selling for. And hopefully we'll see more items like this in the future. All right. Well, have a good night.